Hello, good afternoon. Welcome back to European Higher Education Fair Indonesia 2020 Goes Online. This is Institution Webinar Series. My name is Lukman and I'm going to be a moderator for today. This webinar is going to be presented by KTH Vetenskap och Konst from Sweden. Please stay tuned until the end of this webinar because we will have a Q&A session. And if you have any questions about the presentation or anything related to KTH, you can submit your question on our YouTube's comment section anytime throughout the presentation. And now we'll have the representation. You may start. The time is yours.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much. And good afternoon, everybody. And welcome to this seminar. My name is Bjorn Berggren, and I'm actually a professor at the Royal Institute of Technology in Stockholm. And I'm also regional director for Southeast Asia. And with me today, I have a fantastic, dynamic, young student, Ivan. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hello everyone. Good morning from Stockholm and good afternoon to Indonesia. My name is Ivan and I'm one of master students at KTH. Thank you for introducing me, Bjorn.
Okay, and again, welcome. During this session or webinar, we would like you to get a short introduction to Sweden and what it's like in comparison with Indonesia, for instance. We would also like you to introduce you to Stockholm, my hometown, and also the university, KTH, the Royal Institute of Technology, which is where both me and Ivan tend to spend our days. Well, not now, obviously, owing to COVID, but what we tend to spend our days. And if you have any questions, please let us know through the chat or say them to the Q&A session. Okay, this is actually the City Hall, the interior of the City Hall. And this is where you will get your diploma after graduating your master program at KTH. And this is also the place where all the Nobel Prize winners will be awarded the money, of course, but also the diploma. So this is a fantastic place in Stockholm. There are numerous reasons why I think you should pursue a master thesis at KTH or in Stockholm, but this will be my top 3 reasons then. You will get a master's degree in education, which is a very high standards. KTH has been sort of consistently been ranked top 100 in the world for quite some time. And during your education, our idea is to infuse students with an entrepreneurial mindset, to be fantastic problem solvers and have a way of thinking that is very innovative. And we do hope that you will see Stockholm as your new home. This is actually one of the most livable, safest and friendliest, I'm not sure what you think, Ivan, friendliest cities and easy to go around cities in the world. But
yeah, I agree.
You agree? Fantastic.
I agree.
Okay, so Sweden, short introduction. What is Sweden all about? Well, it's a very high trust society, and I've been working a lot in international education. I think this is one thing that sets Sweden apart from the other countries. We tend to trust each other. And we have a very long tradition of trade and also integration of people and students from other parts of the world. Nowadays, roughly 20% of all people living in Sweden are actually born in another country. Sweden has also a long tradition of manufacturing and internationalization of our companies. And I would imagine that a lot of the companies that you know, IKEA, for instance, favorite brand among students or middle income people, is Swedish. Ericsson, the mobile phone maker, H&M, clothing, Saab, Volvo, Electrolux, pretty much household names from the old economy. And perhaps nowadays you're using Skype, Spotify, or my favorite, Minecraft or Candy Crush. These are also Swedish companies that are going abroad. So it's a long tradition of internationalization, I would say. Sweden, what else? Well, it's a big country. I'm not sure whether you've been here or not, but it's big. One of the largest in Europe, actually. Only Spain and France is actually bigger. But there are not too many Swedes living here, actually. We're 10 million people, which dwarfs it in comparison with Indonesia, of course. So there's a lot of space. And especially if you go up north, you can spend a day without seeing anybody else. You might encounter a reindeer or something like that.
That's true, Björn.
It's true. And Ivan, we do have 4 distinct seasons, right? Which one is your favorite?
The most favorite season for me is spring.
Spring?
Because it's not that hot and it's not that cold either.
Okay.
So it's just like the perfect weather for me.
Okay. I would say autumn is my favorite because I'm older than you with all the colors and you can pick mushrooms or lingonberries or blueberries. But we have 4 very distinct seasons. And obviously now winter is coming and winter is cold in Sweden. So in Stockholm, we tend to have -5 or even 1 to -25 sometimes. So if you're coming, bring a fur cap. That would be my advice. And I would say it's quite easy to get around. Most Swedes speak English. We do have a very well-functioning sort of public transportation system as well. And as you can see, this is the Aurora Borealis, or the Northern Light, which you can actually see all the way down to Stockholm if you're lucky. And most are quite friendly. And it's a kind of progressive society, I would say. It's clean. It's very clean. And it's very transparent and reasonably non-corrupt, I would say. And it's one of the most sort of, when it comes to gender equality, more progressive societies in the world, actually. So you would say it's easy to get around here, Ivan, or have you traveled a lot in Sweden?
Yeah, before Corona times, I traveled a lot in Sweden. And it's really easy to travel around, and the transportation is also very advanced. And yeah, it's very comfortable.
Yeah, and it's safe.
Yeah.
And back to Stockholm. This is also a venue of the City Hall to your left there with the Nobel Prize winners. And we've had a lot of academic ceremonies as well. And as you can see, Stockholm is built upon water, on islands actually. A mix of fresh water and salt water from the sea. So it's nudged in between the sea and the lakes here. So this is the capital of Sweden. And here you will find all the headquarters of multinational companies and a lot of, or quite a few universities. So this is the heart of everything that goes on within Sweden. So roughly 2.2 million live in the greater Stockholm area, I would say. And it's quite old city. It was actually founded close to 800 years back, actually by Germans, what have you not. And it's also the home of the best teams, if you like sports. I mean, there's sports events every day here. My favorite being football and ice hockey. What is your favorite sport, Ivan, if you have any?
Swimming and running.
Swimming and running. Okay. But you can do a lot of things here, obviously pre-COVID times.
Exactly.
But as I said, it's also built on islands. So it's actually 14 islands. And outside of Stockholm, we have the Great Archipelago, which continues for a number of miles. And it's ranked top 10 of the livable cities in the world when it comes to quality of life. And it's one of the safest cities in the world, actually. As I said, clean air, clean water. If you go in the city center, you can actually drink from the water. I haven't tried it myself, but I'm told it's safe. And during the summertime, it's quite common that you take a ferry to the outer archipelago to get some swimming and everything. And when it comes to living standards and budgets, I mean, that is a major concern, obviously, for all students. You are guaranteed, we do have a housing shortage in Stockholm, but as an international student, you are guaranteed housing for the first year. We have designated student sort of areas where you can live. And what does it cost? Ivan, is that reasonable figures for a budget, including housing, food, everything, insurance?
I think the number you have showing us now is really reasonable.
Okay.
And again, the number is not absolute, it's relative. It depends on every individual.
Yeah.
For me, it's very reasonable.
Yeah. And if you don't make ends meet, I would say it's quite common that students take a part-time job, for instance. Could be working as a teaching assistant or something similar to that. But roughly $1,000 per month will cover you most of, obviously housing is one of the biggest expenses that you have as a student. Okay, and this is our home, Ivan, KTH, Royal Institute of Technology. And this is from the courtyard. As you can see, it's kind of Hogwarts style to it. It was built 100 years back when in close conjunction to the Olympic Games were actually held in Sweden. So this is the courtyard where students have a coffee. There might be concerts during the evenings, classical music. So this is the old KTH. And this is the leading technical university in Sweden as of today. And I will take you on some more information. This is the king that we have today, King Carl XVI Gustaf, who is the patron and the guardian of the university. And I would say that since its inception, almost 200 years back, a lot of innovation that has taken place in Sweden has taken place within KTH. In the early 1950s, actually, we had the first nuclear reactor, believe it or not, was actually built on campus 40 meters below where my office is today, until somebody realized it was a really bad idea to have a nuclear power plant in the middle of the capital if something went bad. So that has been dismantled. And nowadays we tend to have concerts and parties and stuff instead. So it's a fantastic place to visit. The first TV was actually, or broadcasted actually also from campus in the 50s. So from its inception, I would say it's become one of the most leading, or one of the leading technical universities in Europe, and attracting talent and students from all over the world. It's not the biggest university, I would say, roughly 13,000 students, about 2,000 doctoral students, 300 professors, which is good, I think, and 5,000 staff. So we have a lot of staff and teachers per student in comparison with most other universities. So as a student, you get to spend a lot of time with your teachers or supervisors, which I think separates it from most other universities. We also have had one Nobel Prize winners. That was 50 years back in physics. I'm not very good at physics, but it was something very brilliant that guy came up with. And then you have a picture of the library, which has traditionally been the meeting point for students. Nowadays, Ivan, I think most books have actually been shipped away. So now it's more like virtual, and we have more study rooms instead at the library. Do you spend some time there, Ivan?
I mean, before Corona, I spent most of my times there in the library. I considered library as my second home.
Yeah, okay. And this is actually an image from above of KDH and what's happening. And in the middle, you can see the courtyard. This is the old KDH and the library. And as you can see, there are public transportations all the way up to the front of KDH. So wherever you are in the city, it's very easy to get there. We do have our own sports center. We do have a lot of accommodation on campus that has been newly built. And depending on what you are interested in, we do have a number of campuses all around Stockholm. We have KTH Kista, which is on the north of the city. This is the meeting point for a lot of MNCs such as Microsoft, etc. So it's the ICT cluster of Stockholm. On the south in Södertälje and Flemingsberg, we have health, life sciences, and also logistics and manufacturing. And KTH Solna is also on ICT. So we have different parts of the city or campuses depending on what your major topic is, what your program is. And quite close, we also have the Royal National Park. We do have I think we have 26 different parks in Stockholm. So it's a big city, but it's a green city in a way. So Ivan, do you take a stroll in the national park?
Yeah, yes, very often, because I live in Lapis, the most popular student accommodation in Stockholm, I would say. And Lapis is located right next to Royal National Park. In the picture, you can see actually building of Lapis just above Royal National Park.
And also besides the Royal National Park, we have the Stockholm University, which is quite close.
Yes.
So they're growing together. And what's happening then at KDH? Well, a lot of things. A couple of years back, Barack Obama visited our university and was introduced to some of the research on renewable energy and batteries. And as I said previously, consistently top 100 in the QS World Ranking. And we all have some sort of schools and departments that are sort of even higher ranked. I'm with the School of Architecture and Built Environment. We've been top 25. We have material science, mechanical and electrical engineering, which is also ranked top 30 in the world. So even though we're small, we're leading at our respective fields. And to the right, also Stephen Hawking. I actually met with Stephen Hawking. I wouldn't say met with Stephen Hawking. I saw him. That would probably be more correct. But I was so starstruck, so I didn't dare to approach him. So we do have a lot of people or important people visiting KDH. Stephen Hawking visited on a conference of black hole theory, actually. So pretty cool stuff. The structure of our programs is in compliance with the rest of Europe, I would say. We start with a bachelor degree for 3 years. That will be all taught in Swedish. I think we have one bachelor degree program that is taught in English in ICT. And then we have 2 years of master's degree programs. And that is what you're aiming for, I think. And that's where we all have the exchange students from all over the world. And most of the programs are structured in the same way. You start with 3 semesters of coursework, depending, some are mandatory, but most are, you can choose from a number of different courses or a list depending on your particular interest. And during the final semester, you will do your project work, most often 2 and 2, but you can do it alone. So this is much in line with the rest of Europe when it comes to the structure. And if you haven't got enough, such as Ivan, you can continue with a doctoral degree as well. Will you do that, Ivan?
I would see myself doing doctoral programs in the future.
Yeah, and that's 4 years in Sweden, actually. So it's 1 year longer than in Germany or in the US, for instance. And what do we teach? Well, we have quite a few programs. We are organized into 5 distinct schools. I will come back to that shortly. And we have 60 programs. 25% or 15 of them are actually joint programs. And these are programs that we do in collaboration with other very prominent universities, that you spend some time abroad as well as in Stockholm. And what kind of programs do we have? First out is my school. It's called the Architecture and the Built Environment. We offer, today I'm with the Real Estate and Construction Management program. Obviously, we have a housing shortage in Stockholm. But we also have programs on urban planning, transportation, which is a really big thing in most urban areas today. And also architecture, of course. So these are our programs focusing on the city planning, etc. And then this is your school, right, Ivan?
Exactly. And my program, Media Management, is within the school.
Yep. And also we have from the very small, such as nanotechnology, to the very big, nuclear energy. But also some ICT innovation programs. And obviously, nowadays, a lot of things is happening around the cloud and cloud computing, etc. And then we have the School of Engineering or Engineering Science. And here we actually some really interesting programs in building. Railway engineering, for instance, is a really big thing in a lot of the countries in Southeast Asia. But we also have a long tradition of manufacturing and building in Sweden. That has been the backbone of the Swedish economy, such as vehicle engineering or naval architecture and aerospace. We have one astronaut in Sweden that has been in space, and he's actually program director for one of these companies. And then we have a new school, Science and Chemistry, Biotech and Health. So everything from chemistry, such as polymer chemistry, and biotechnology, which is an area where we have a lot of startups in Sweden as well. So this is also quite a few extremely popular programs. And sports technology, well, And then we have the School of Industrial Engineering and Management. And this, we have some of the most sought after programs at our university. Industrial Management, which is a combination of business studies and engineering sciences. And we also have a number of joint programs with other universities, but also product engineering, for instance, and product management belongs to these schools. So we have, as I said, 60 different programs within 5 different schools. And if you'd like to know more about these programs, please visit our homepage or just drop us an email, because I haven't had enough time presenting all of them. But then teaching and education in Sweden, and especially KDH, is somewhat different, I would say, than in other places or universities. I think that one of the major differences, if you agree with me, Ivan, is that you spend a lot of time in class in a way. There's a lot of lectures and seminars.
Correct.
How many hours a week do you typically spend in school with lectures and seminars?
In the first semester, I would say it was kind of 16 hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
I spent most of my times in lectures and seminars.
Yeah.
But now, because I'm now in second year,
yep.
So most of courses are only projects, so I don't have to come to the university every day.
No, but what we do have a lot of teaching going on. And as you
yes.
said, especially in the first year, there's a lot. Lectures is a traditional way of doing it. But also that the classes tend to be smaller, depending on your interest and program. But what a typical program might hold 100 students. And then you have specialization within the program. So each and every class might be 30 to 60 students. We focus a lot of teamwork, actually. We tend to, we do have individual exams, for instance, but a lot of the work that you're doing, preparing projects and what have you not, you tend to do that within teams. We also have a lot of strategic partnerships with big companies. So when you're finalizing your degree project, it's quite common to do that in collaboration with a private business. And also we try to strive for sort of personal approach, that you spend time with your teacher or supervisor. for quite some time. So it's kind of hands-on, but where you will meeting your teacher quite a lot, I would say. Hey, Ivan.
Yay. So it's...
You want a bike? I can see that.
All right, now it's time for me to say something about my student's life here in Stockholm. But first, again, my name is Ivan, and I'm currently second-year student in media management at KTH, and this program belongs to the School of Electrical Engineering and Computer Science. And I got the funding from Swedish Institute for 2 years. So in this opportunity, I want to share with you my experience so far here. And I've chosen several pictures that I believe still won't be enough to tell because there are so many interesting stories I would love to share actually. So the first picture on the left, you see is one of my favorite activities here in Stockholm, which is to bike. Usually I also ride my bike to go to campus, but of course not during the winter like this because it's really cold. But I ride my bike during the summer and spring and sometimes also in the autumn. It's really lovely to cycle here because the air is so clean and the street is mostly empty. So you don't have to worry about the change being hit by cars. And there are also a lot of, how do you say, bike lanes available here on the street. And top right picture, you see it's me during my final assignments during the pre-sessional English class offered by KTH for 3 weeks before the studies begin. This English class is not all about learning the grammar and English stuff and others, but the main point is to introduce new students about the study culture in Sweden. So you will be given assignments that are either individual or together with your friends, because yes, here in Sweden there are a lot of group work during your study period. And bottom right picture is after the official welcome reception by KTH at Stockholm City Hall. Bjorn has mentioned before that the graduation will be also held in this building, but also not only graduation ceremony, but also the welcome reception by KTH.
Cool. This is from your everyday life, Ivan.
This is from my everyday life. So the first pictures, top left pictures is my room here in Lapis. As the new KTH student, I was offered an accommodation by KTH, and there are two types of accommodations: furnished and unfurnished. Furnished means that you will get one bed, one table, and one chair, while unfurnished means like no bed, no table, and no chair. You just got the room, and you will only get a wardrobe. I think it depends on your luck which accommodation you will get. There are also actually several housing offered by KTH. I live in Lapis, but there are other accommodations such as Teknikringen and Malvinas within KTH main campus. There are also Kungshamra, Skrapan, and I cannot remember the other one. So Lapis is really close to KTH. It's only 2 kilometers. By public transportation, you will have to take a bus and then change the metro, and maybe it will only take about 20-25 minutes. And you can also go by bike, by foot, or by foot maybe only 45 minutes minimum. And bottom left picture is me with my media management friends. There were actually in total 18 students, if I'm not mistaken. And then we have our a program for ourselves at least once in every month or 2 months. Students from different countries has to host for lunch or dinner and introduce their traditional foods or dishes. And this picture was taken during the German lunch. As you can see, one of the hosts holding an iPad with German flag. And this is actually a nice idea to get closer with your friends, especially friends in the same programs. And me and my friends are organizing a Thanksgiving dinner tomorrow. I'm so excited.
Wow.
And the last picture, as I and Bjorn have mentioned about group work, and this is a picture from my group work from last semester, I think, before the Corona came here in Sweden. So yeah, group work is really something here in Sweden. I think in Sweden, not only in KTH, right, Bjorn?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love group work because you can also make new friends during the group work. So I think that's all from my side.
Okay, brilliant. So we should wrap it up then. Here are some information. I mean, Ivan, you're a very central person when it comes to social media and connecting Sweden to. We can put this. What do you need to attend or acquire? Well, you need a bachelor's degree, right, in science or engineering. English proficiency. This is all available at our webpage. That's important. And there might be specific requirements for each and every program, and you can find them at our homepage. And that there are a number of different scholarships that might be available for you. So check it out. We do have scholarships at KDH, not super many, but we have a few. The Swedish Institute offers also scholarships, and there might be external partners or foundations that do offer scholarships if you would like to come to KDH. Is time's up now, or do you have time for one more slide? Okay.
Yes, we can start our Q&A session, but before that, thank you for the informative presentation, Mr. Bjorn and Mr. Ivan. If you have any questions related to KTH or Sweden, please type them down on our YouTube's comment section. Now, the first question. One of our watchers on YouTube is interested to study in Sweden. And the person wants to know, how do you select the eligible applicants? Can you give any tips to make the application stand out?
Yeah, I think I have how to apply. Ivan, I mean, you have obviously been chosen to our program. What do you need besides good grade? What do you think is important when it comes to motivational letter and stuff like that?
I think motivation letter is one of the most important things because there you can reasons why you have chosen the program, and also you have the chance to tell about your background, which is maybe related to the program you choose to KTH.
Yeah, I think that's really good. And also if you have worked, for instance, or you have references within the field, and that you have reasonable or sufficient knowledge within the field that you're looking for, that you have taken courses in nanotechnology or whatever before you're applying to a master's program. So the fit between your bachelor degree and the forthcoming master's, I think, is important. You have taken the right classes, so to speak.
Okay. Next one, would it be possible to apply into the master program that's not really fit into the undergraduate?
Yeah, as long as you have the basic requirements, that you have a bachelor's degree in engineering or science and engineering. Because the idea with the Bologna system is it should be open, right? Because we have in our program students with kind of diverse background, but then you might have to work harder in the beginning to get to the same level if you have not a perfect fit between what you have taught before and what you're doing at the master's level. I mean, Ivan, did you have a perfect fit between your bachelor degree and the master's program that you're taking?
I think so, because I did print and media technology in my bachelor studies, and now in my master studies, I study media management, so it's media related.
Yeah, you're a straight A student, right?
I hope so.
Okay, thank you for the answer. Next question. I would like to know, how's the city life in KTH and in Stockholm in general? Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, I will try to, and you can fill in. I mean, it's the capital of Sweden, so it's the cultural capital as well. When it comes to everything from theaters, opera, sports, venues, restaurants, what have you not. And in the inner city, because you're probably living in the inner city area, there are different districts for food and beverage. That's where I live, with a lot of restaurants and poets and what have you not. It's easy to get around, and it's with the public transportation is kind of cheap, I would say, and you will get a discount when you're a student, so you can travel and get quite easily all around Stockholm. So I'd say it's fantastic during the summer because it's really bright, I would say. We have the midnight sun where the sun never sets. But I would say, Ivan, it's an acquired taste during the winter because it's getting darker. But hopefully we'll get snow soon and we'll get brighter by then. All right? But now it's challenging times with the darkness before the sun or before the snow has been falling.
Yes. And I want to add something that you have mentioned that Stockholm is the capital city of Sweden. And people might think that capital city, maybe like Jakarta, is really busy, a lot of buildings and stuff, and maybe the pollution and something like that. But although Stockholm is the capital city of Sweden, the city is really, really close to nature. So it's also green city. And if I'm not mistaken, it's awarded as the greenest city by the European Union Commission back then.
And I would also, I have a lot of Singaporean students, and they used to Singapore, obviously, and they claim that Stockholm is a jungle. So it is green. It is green. And also, I would like to add that, Ivan, you're a student, and we do have a lot of student associations depending on your interest. If you're interested in theater, ice hockey, diving, I mean, you can if you have spare time, which you do have as a student, you can do a lot of different things on campus or off campus as well, depending on your interest, for instance.
Yes.
Okay, next question. Maybe this one for Mr. Ivan. As a student from Indonesia, did you find any challenges when you moved to Sweden? And if there was like, how do you cope with them?
That's pretty good questions, actually. Maybe one of the most challenging part is the food, because it's totally different. But it's not here in Stockholm. It's not that hard to find or to cook Indonesian food because there are several Asian markets, and you can find the ingredients that come directly from Indonesia. So it's not that hard. And also there are so many Indonesian students here, and sometimes we organize like dinner together and lunch together, and we cook also Indonesian food together. So don't worry. Actually, the challenges that you will face here in Stockholm is not that difficult to solve. So just take it easy.
Ivan, I went to a really good Indonesian restaurant in Solna a couple of weeks back. You know that?
Yeah. There are also several Indonesian restaurants here in Stockholm.
Yeah,
actually.
Yeah. How was sort of the courses? Was that a challenge for you, or was it the same? I mean, teaching environment or learning environment as in Jakarta?
The teaching, you said?
Yeah, or the structure of the courses with the teamwork. Was that a challenge? Was it?
Not at all. On the other side, even it's better because it's group work, and the teaching style is not one-way teaching method, but either two-way teaching method. And the teachers are not really teaching, but in my opinion, the teachers are the facilitators. So it's really great.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'd like to know more about the local language. Do we really have to like speak Swedish when you move there?
Yes. No. No. I would say you get along fine with English. I do supervise PhD students, and the majority of PhD students are from other countries than Sweden. If you're working in part-time, you will find that the corporate language, especially among big companies or in startups, is English. The medium of teaching or language to teach is English. So I would say, Ivan, you will get, and most Swedes speak. If you hold the guy on the street, say, how will I get to place this? He will probably could direct you quite easily because people speak English, right?
Yes, I also can add something about that maybe. When I first arrived in Stockholm, in Sweden, I didn't really speak Swedish. I only know thank you and also good morning in Swedish. But then I learned Swedish here in KTH, and also the government offered free language course. It's called Swedish for Immigrants, and you can apply for the class for free.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for the informative answers. Unfortunately, we are short on time, and there are many questions related to the programs. Can you tell us the website or the email address that we can approach if our watchers are now in YouTube are interested?
Yes. I think did we have the? I think I have the backup.
I think you have the slide.
There you go. kdh.sc/master. There you will find. I think it's really good. A specification and introduction to all programs, the course content, what kind of occupation you will have after the courses. So I think this is kth.sc/master. There you'll find requirements, what you're going to do after graduating, what kind of courses, which one is mandatory, and which one is you can choose from, basically.
Okay, I guess that's a wrap. Thank you, Mr. Bjorn and Mr. Ivan, for the great presentation. I hope we can meet again later.
Absolutely. And thanks for listening, everybody. And please come to Stockholm. We need more bright people like Ivan, right?
Nice.
Okay, thank you for watching the first session. And I would like to remind you again, there's going to be a virtual fair this Friday and Saturday. You'll be able to consult directly and ask for the questions related to your study. Find the access to event.ehef.id and all the information will be there. We'll be back for the second session. Bye for now.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, so we're going to relocate to the other Zoom room, right?
Correct.
Hello, good afternoon. Welcome back to European Higher Education Fair 2020 Goes Online. This is Institution Webinar Series. My name is Lukman and I will be your moderator for this webinar. The second session will be presented by Stockholm University. Please stay tuned until the end of this webinar because we will hold a Q&A session. If you have any questions about the presentation or anything related to Stockholm University, you can submit your questions in our YouTube comment section anytime throughout the presentation. I guess the representative is now ready. Ms. Tina Larsen, the time is yours.
Thank you. It's very nice to be here. So I'm Tina Larsson and I work as an international student recruitment manager at Stockholm University, specifically with international students. And my presentation today will be in 5 parts. I will share it with you here. There we go. So I will speak about Sweden and Stockholm, about Stockholm University, about what it's like to study with us here, about cost, fees and scholarships, and about how you will be welcomed when you are admitted. And of course, if you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them afterwards. So about Sweden and Stockholm. Sweden is a country in the north of Europe, and it has about 10 million inhabitants. And Sweden is known to be an open, equal, innovative, and sustainable country. And on global rankings, it's always one of the most innovative nations in the world. And openness and equality are important concepts in Sweden. And global press freedom is important, and we're always on the top of those rankings as well. And Sweden is a secular country. That means that there are many people who do not believe in a religion. But most of the world's religions are represented in Sweden. And the most important aspect is that all religions are welcome. So you're welcome to believe whatever you want, and you need to respect that others can believe whatever they want as well. And in Sweden, we speak English to a very high level. So you can always expect that whoever you meet will be able to communicate with you in English. I used to tell international students that my grandfather, who is more than 90 years old, actually speaks Swedish as well. And my daughter, who's 5, has started to learn. So really, everyone speaks English. And these are some Swedish companies. I am sure that you are familiar with many of them. Who hasn't tried to put together something from IKEA or bought something from H&M? And Sweden's population is 10 million. So it's, if you think about it, quite impressive that there are so many big international companies that are from Sweden. And it's because Sweden has this culture of innovation and it is a hub for startups. So it's a very good environment for companies to be created. And about Stockholm, where I am right now, Stockholm is the capital of Sweden. So here we have 1 million inhabitants. So it's the biggest city in Sweden. So compared to big cities in Indonesia, it's of course not that big, but it's still a business center, one of the most innovative cities in the world, and a hub for tech companies and startups. And it's also a center for culture. So regardless if you like to go to the museum, the theater, or concerts or sport events, you will always find things going on in Stockholm. And my favorite aspect about Sweden is that it's about Stockholm, specifically Sweden, but also Stockholm, is that it's an open city that welcomes everyone. So it's diverse, tolerant, progressive, and new ideas and different perspectives are welcome. And this is true for the whole of Sweden, but especially true for Stockholm, I would say. And Stockholm is also a clean and green city. So we have the cleanest air of all European capitals. And we have high quality tap water. So for example, you don't buy water in bottles, you drink it from the tap directly. And it's a green city. So when you're here, even though you're in the city center, you're never farther away from a park than 300 meters. So you always have a park nearby. And 1/3 of Stockholm is made up by green areas. There are many different national parks. And there are over 40 open air gyms as well. So if you like to exercise, or if you think that you should start exercising maybe, then Stockholm is a very good place to do that. And you have water everywhere, which is amazingly beautiful. And if you come from a nation of islands, it might feel a little bit nice to know that you will always be close to water when you are in Stockholm as well. It's built on 14 islands, and we have the archipelago as well. And about Stockholm University, well, Stockholm University is a top-ranked university. On the Shanghai ranking, we are on place 69 in the world. And when it comes to the other rankings, we are on 175 on Times Higher Education and 181 in the QS ranking. So regardless of what ranking list you look at, we are top 200, but we are also top 100 on the Shanghai ranking. So Stockholm University was funded in 1878, and then it was this new and modern alternative to these old traditional universities. So it was about open lectures, and there weren't any exams or degrees. And of course, nowadays there are exams and degrees, but we have kept the tradition of open lectures and openness. So Stockholm University still provides many lectures that are open to the public. And in 1960, Stockholm University went from being Stockholm College to being a university. And 10 years later, the university moved to Campus Frescati. So right now I am in Campus Frescati, so in the middle of the world's first national city park. So if you go for a walk in the lunch break, you will see sheep and cow and horses and old oak trees and water. So it's a really beautiful environment to be in, at the same time that you only are 10 meters from the city center, 10 minutes from the city center with metro. And we have 4 faculties: humanities, law, sciences, and social sciences. So basically we have everything except engineering and medicine. And there are about 33,000 students, and about 1 in 10 is an international student. But that's of course not at all how it will look like at your programs, because in the international master's programs, there are many international students. So this is because we also have many programs in Swedish. And these are our campuses. So as I said, I'm at Campus Frescati right now, the main campus, and that's also where you have the geoscience building. So if you will be studying natural sciences with us, you will be studying here. And many other subjects as well. And if you study computer and system sciences, then you will be studying in Kista Science City, which is basically the Silicon Valley of Sweden. It's a hub for tech companies and IT companies. And a new area called Albano is being built right next to Campus Frescati. So we are growing, and it's also connecting Stockholm University even more with the campus area of KTH, which is nearby. And there's a lot of collaboration between Stockholm University, the Royal Institute of Technology, KTH, and Karolinska Institutet, which are 3 big universities in Stockholm. And when it comes to bachelor's programs in English, there are not that many offered, and most of our programs are on master's level. But the ones that are offered are international business and politics, Latin American studies with a specialization in Portuguese or Spanish, earth science, and bachelor's program in business ethics and sustainability. So if you are interested in that, then you can apply for a bachelor's program at Stockholm University. And if you're interested in studying a master's program, then we have much more to offer. We have programs in many different areas. As I said before, basically everything except engineering that you could study at KTH, and medicine, which is Karolinska Institutet in Stockholm that offers that. So together we are comprehensive. So let's have a look at the programs. There are programs that will help you understand the world we live in, and the world can be understood from many different perspectives. So maybe you want to understand the world from the perspective of media, or from a geological perspective, ethological perspective, sociological perspective, or maybe you want to understand it through a demographic perspective, or to study a certain area in the world. So there are many different programs in many different areas. And if you don't want to discover this world, but to discover new dimensions, you could study astronomy or physics, design for creative and immersive technology, or we also have a new program in artificial intelligence. And you could study programs to follow in the footsteps of our Nobel laureates. We have many programs in chemistry, we have programs in literature, and we also have programs in economics. And sustainability is something that Sweden is very good at, and that is very important in Sweden. And of course, there are also many programs that deals with sustainability from different perspectives, and how to meet the needs of today without compromising future needs. So you could study sustainability from an environmental perspective, for example, climate science, or you could study it from an economical perspective, like global political economy, or social perspective, like an environmental social science. So there are many ways to study sustainability at Stockholm University. And then a quite common question from prospective students is that you studied something, you applied for something when you wanted to study your bachelor's, and some time has passed, and now you want to study something else for your master's. And we have many programs where that's possible. So these are some programs. You could, for example, combine what you already studied with a master's in IT, or in marketing, or management, or creating art. You could study education policies, or if you studied something between humanities and social science before, you could study Latin American studies or fashion studies as well. So there are many options if you have changed your mind. So what is it like to study with us? Well, something that is different from many other universities in the world is the course structure, because here you will generally focus on one course at a time. So if you're used to studying all your courses in a parallel during the semester and have mid-exams and final exams, then this will be very different for you, because it's common to study a course for 5 weeks and have some sort of examination, and then you're done with that course and you continue with the next course for 5 weeks, or it could be 10 weeks, but that you do them one at a time. So I find it less stressful, but it will definitely be different to what you are used to. And the way of teaching might also be different. There will be a combination of lectures, seminars, fieldwork, for some programs, laboratory work, group work, individual studies. And the environment in the classroom is informal and non-hierarchical. So it's the same. We have an informal and non-hierarchical society. And this is something that you will also see in the classroom. So you will, for example, be able to say the first name of your teacher. If I would be a teacher, you would just call me Tina, not Miss Larsson. And you will be encouraged to think for yourself, think independently, be creative. You will be also encouraged to and expected to contribute with ideas and opinions during your lectures. And the academic year will run from September to mid-January, and then the first semester and the next semester immediately starts. So it runs from mid-January to June, and then there's a break during summer. And every semester you study 30 credits, and it's 20 weeks per semester. And most master's programs are 120 credits, which means that there are 2 years program, and a bachelor's program in Sweden is 180 credits. And if you want to know what it's like to study here from other international students who have done so previously, then please go to su.se/our-alumni to see videos with our alumni and to see what they have to say about the program that you are interested in, or to say about what it's like to be a student from your country or your region studying in Stockholm University. And when you submit your application, then you apply through universityadmissions.se, regardless of what university in Sweden you apply for, because we have this national application website that we use for all Swedish universities. So there you can apply for 4 master's programs, but only be admitted to 1. So you rank them in order of preference. So it's always this webpage that you will go through. And the deadline is the 15th of January, 2021, if you want to start next autumn. And you need to have submitted all your documentation by the 1st of February. And then the 9th of April, you will find out if you are admitted, if you apply for a master's, and the 16th of April, if you apply for a bachelor's. And for entry to a master's program for students from Indonesia, you need to have a 4-year sarjana, excuse my pronunciation if I say it wrong, with a minimum of 144 credits. And I have inserted a link here. It's to the website University Admissions as well, because there is a specific page for students who have studied in Indonesia and who want to apply for either master's or bachelor's studies in Sweden, so that you can see what is required and what you should think about when it comes to the documentation that you need to submit. And the specific entry requirements depends on what program you apply for. So for example, if you apply for a program in international and comparative education, then as I said before, you need to have a background in humanities or social sciences or a teacher certificate. So that's specific for that program. So for every program that you apply for, you will always see in the specific requirements what academic background you need. Sorry, and you also always need to have English. So you can demonstrate that you meet the English language requirement by taking an internationally approved English test. So for example, if you take a TOEFL test, you need to have 90. In IELTS, for almost all programs, you need to have 6.5 and no section below 5.5. And you can find this information and more about approved English tests on this link here. It's also University Admissions. That webpage will be your new best friends. It has a lot of information that's useful. So when you apply, you just create an account and apply on universityadmissions.se. You pay the application fee by February 1st. So you apply by January 15, pay the fee by February 1st, and submit your supporting documents and any additional documents and test results by the 1st of February. And then you will find out in April. And the selection between applicants, what it's based on depends on the program as well. So for example, if you apply for business, they will look at GMAT or GRE test results, and that's only for the programs in business. And then other programs have different selections. So you will always see that in the course catalog. So for example, if it's based on the academic merits of previous studies, or if you need to submit a motivational letter, these things will depend between the programs. So always look at the page of the program in the course catalog to find out what you are supposed to submit. Okay, a little bit about cost, fees, and scholarships. There are application and tuition fees for all citizens from outside of the European Union, and the application fee is 900 Swedish crowns, and it's about $90 US. And for that fee, you can apply for 4 master's programs. And as I said before, they can even be in different universities, but you can only be admitted for 1. And the tuition fee per academic year depends on what university you study with. At Stockholm University, most programs within humanities, social science and law costs 90,000 Swedish crowns, so approximately 9,000 US dollars. And within sciences, approximately 14,000 US dollars. And some programs have other prices. And an average monthly budget is around 900 US dollars. And the biggest part of the average monthly budget is the accommodation. So your monthly budget will depend a lot on how you choose to live. And you are allowed to work during your studies, but I really want to say that it's not that easy to find a part-time job without speaking any Swedish. So please don't count on it when budgeting for Sweden, but rather that if you do find an extra job, that's a plus. And if you want to look for a part-time job, we have some advices of website like My Career, Academic Work, and Student Consulting. And there's also a webpage if you want to start your own company, and that's called verksamt.se. And when you have finished your studies, then you can apply for a residence permit to stay for 12 months to find a job or to start your own company. And about scholarships, well, Stockholm University has a scholarship. It only covers tuition fees, and it's aimed at especially qualified students who are required to pay tuition fees, and it's based on previous academic merits. About 10% of the tuition fee paying students obtain that scholarships. And it's something that you apply for after being admitted. So then you will be sent a link to the scholarship and you apply for it. And within a few days, you will know if you have been awarded it or not. So then you will have all the facts when it's time to pay the tuition fees if you have not been awarded the scholarship. And priority will be given to those who have chosen Stockholm University as #1 in their application when they rank their programs. You know, these 4 programs that you can apply for. And you can find more information on this link here, su.se/scholarships. And students from Indonesia can also apply for Swedish Institute scholarships. I know that we have at least one student from Indonesia right now who is here on a Swedish Institute scholarship. And that application opens the 8th of February. So you can read more about it at su.se/scholarships. It's a scholarship that covers both tuition fee and living costs. And you can see all of the requirements on their webpage. So when you are admitted in April, then we will first have a welcome webinar where we will be available for a whole weekend to just answer all the questions that international students have and give different presentations and just make sure that everyone knows the next steps to take and what to do before coming to Sweden and when coming to Sweden. And we also arrange welcome activities. We have welcome service at Arlanda Airport, and we have an orientation day. And there's also a lot of other welcome activities because you need to get settled in with university. So there are welcome activities to get you all set with your studies. But there are also welcome activities to get you to get to know your new hometown and to make friends, of course, because you have left something behind and you need to get to know new people and make friends. So that's an important part of the time in Sweden as well. And then you can study free Swedish language courses if you want to, and they're designed so you can study them alongside your normal studies. That is something that we really advise if you want to stay and work, because although everyone speaks English, it will be an advantage to know some Swedish. And if you can't wait to start, then there are free online courses that you could start learning already at learningswedish.se. So thank you so much for listening, and I hope that you will make Stockholm part of your future. And I would be happy to answer any questions that you have now. Your microphone is off.
Thank you, Tina, from Stockholm University for the impressive presentation. Also, you pronounce Sarjana correctly.
Ah, thank you.
Okay, now we're down to the Q&A session. So if you have any questions about the presentation or you want to know more, just shoot it on our YouTube's comment section. I'll read them to Tina. Now, the first one, I would like to know how's the pandemic uh, teaching style there? Is it still online or like some of the class are offline now?
Yeah, that has changed a lot in many countries and also in Sweden, of course. And most of our education is digital right now. And it has to do with trying to prevent the spread of the virus. Really, most of our programs will be digital. And also for the start of the spring semester, it seems like it will be that way as well. And then we hope that when you arrive, if you apply, that's a long time until that's next autumn. So we are hoping and planning for a normal autumn, but of course no one knows what will happen.
Okay, finger crossed. Okay, next one. What are documents needed upon application? Because you also mentioned that all the documents have to be uploaded in February. Looking that some IELTS test centers are now closed, would it be any easier thing for that case?
No, you still need to upload them by the deadline, but there are a lot of different tests that you can take. So if you look at universityadmission.se, you will find all the English tests because there are several different versions of tests. Let's see, I will just, is it possible for me to share a link?
Sure, I can copy paste that to the YouTube's comment section.
Yeah, because there are many different ones to take. Let's see here. Hopefully one of them is, or a couple of them are possible to take even during the pandemic now.
While I'm still copying that, let's go to the next question. Okay. How about the minimum GPA requirements? I know that those are vary, but can you tell us the rough number for those?
I can tell that we don't use that at all. There is no minimum GPA. So when it comes to the requirements to be eligible to study, then it's that you need to have the required bachelor's degree and you need to fulfill the English requirements. So that's like the general thing. And then it depends on the different programs what you need to have studied. And then when they choose between the applicants, they look at so many different things. So we have 56 different departments. And they decide for themselves how to select the students for their program. So as I said before, for business is GMAT or GRE. For some programs, they only look at the number of academic credits. For some other ones, you will have to submit a motivational letter. So it's so different, but we don't look at the average GPA.
Okay, that's a relief for some of our watchers, I hope. Okay, the next one. Will there be any prep for Swedish language? And is it upon or during our study?
These Swedish courses?
Yes.
Yeah, those are designed so that you study them alongside your study. So they will be on evenings or weekends because, of course, they're not supposed to be taking the time from your program that you're studying. So there are, I think there are 7 different courses. You can study them one after another so that when you have studied, for example, a 2-year master's program, then you have some level of Swedish, which is really great if you want to stay and work in Sweden.
Okay. I would like to know more about the city life. How's Stockholm different from other cities from Europe?
Wow, it will depend a lot on what city. Well, Stockholm has, I think that when it comes to, if you think about the capitals that I've been in Europe, which are quite many, I think that Stockholm is different in, it has water everywhere. Well, Venice has too, some other ones has too, but Stockholm combines that with being like having nature everywhere. So you have water everywhere, nature everywhere. And it has the old architecture, but it also has the modern architecture. And it also has, when it comes to restaurants, we are very quick on adapting. So we have a little bit of the entire world because we love new influences and trends. So it's like this, a lot of things going on everywhere and of different sort of things. So it's not like just one style or one culture. It's a little bit a mix of everything. And it's a hub for so many things because we don't have that many big cities, and Stockholm is sort of like the big city. So everything is going on here. There are always concerts and events and cultural events and so on.
Okay, thank you for the answer. The next question related to the application again. Is there any how's the PhD application process? Should we submit our proposal first, or how do we submit for that?
When it comes to, well, it's always good to apply early so that you have a lot of time to submit all your documentation. But the deadline for application is the 15th of January and the deadline for documents is the 1st of February. And then you really just follow this step-by-step guide on university admissions. It's a really easy application process. I would just show this this address to this application website again. They have this step-by-step how to apply, and we also have step-by-step on our website. And it's really, so you just create an account on university admissions, pay the application fee, and then when you come to supporting your documents, you will see a step-by-step exactly how to do it. For example, if you will choose the level that you're applying for. For example, if you applied for a master's, then you would just go to provide application documents, and it says, okay, these are the required documents. This is how to secure that they're officially issued. This is how to submit them. For example, from Indonesia, you could upload them. And what to do, for example, if you are in the final year of your bachelor studies, you can still apply, but you need to take certain steps to make sure that you can have a conditional admittance. I would just insert another link here. I like links so that you can forward it so that everyone can just go directly into that. And there's also, I had it in the presentation, but I can insert it again because there's a page especially for Indonesia so that you can see exactly what's required if you have previously studied in Indonesia. I could just actually just share it. There we go. So you can see my Indonesia page here, right?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, exactly. So then you just go into university admissions, and here you will see, okay, this is how I meet the entry requirement. This is the English one. This is what I should think about with documentation if I have studied in Indonesia. So it's it's your new best friend, as I said. It's really, there are a lot of steps, but it's really well explained. So if you just follow that guide, it will be fine.
Okay. You told us a fun fact about Stockholm earlier, that anywhere you go, you find a park within 300 meters. Our watchers here are curious about one fun fact about Stockholm University. Can you tell us something about that?
Okay, a fun fact or I will start with a fun event. I was saying that we are in the middle of the world's first national city park. So there are a lot of farms and places around here. So one day, a couple of years ago, there were a lot of sheep running around all over campus because this was like the king's old hunting grounds. And then all the king's sheep had escaped. So the whole campus was full of sheep running around, and then they had to try to gather in all the sheep. So it's like we are really close to the city center, but we are also in the middle of this like natural place with a lot of animals and so on.
Okay, that's super fun. Yeah, couldn't imagine that. Okay, I guess we are quite short on time, but there are still a few questions. What do you think would be challenges for international students, especially the ones from Southeast Asia or Indonesia like us?
Yeah, something that we talk about, like how to manage, is that it's really different with the light in Sweden, because we have the same amount of light, but it's really unevenly distributed over the year. So we have these winters where it gets dark really early, and you really have to get out in the lunch break to like catch your sunlight of the day. And then we have these summers when it's never dark, and you really have to try to go to bed even though it looks like it's still like daylight outside. So like adjusting to the light is something that many international students think is tricky.
Okay, thank you so much for the answer. Maybe before we close that one, can you re-show us the website so our watchers can get more information,
Of course.
where to
Happy to.
go?
So this is University Admissions, which is the application website where you apply. And then you could also go into the Stockholm University website, and there you will also find all the information regarding how to study with us, admissions, like step-by-step guide to really make sure that you don't miss anything when you submit your application. And then, of course, we are always answering emails and we love to help. So just send an email to study@su.se. We also have a lot of webinars. We are so available. So just ask us and we will we will help out.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Tina from Stockholm University for all the presentations and Q&A. We hope to see you again next year.
I hope so too. Bye.
Bye, have a great time. For our watchers, I'd like to remind you again there's going to be a virtual fair today and tomorrow. You'll be able to consult directly and ask further questions related to study or if you are interested with Stockholm University in general. Kindly access event.ehef.id and all the information will be there. We'll be back short after this. Stay tuned. Yep. Hello, good evening here from Jakarta. Welcome to European Higher Education Fair Indonesia 2020 goes online. This is Institution Webinar Series. My name is Lukman and I will be your moderator for today. This next session will have SLU Sweden. And please stay tuned until the end of this webinar because we will have a Q&A session. If you have any questions about the presentation or anything related to SLU Sweden, you can submit the questions in our YouTube's comment section anytime throughout the presentation. We have the representative for today, and yeah, Miss Ellen, the time is yours. You may start.
Hi, thank you very much. My name is Elin Hellsten and I work as a communications officer at the Swedish University of Agricultural Sciences. I'm really happy to be here today, even though I miss the opportunity of actually being there in Indonesia with you. But as this year things are as they are, we have to do it virtually. And as I said, I'm happy to get this opportunity. Let me show my screen with you. Here we go. Actually, we're going to do it like this, I think. There we go. I hope you can see this now. SLU is a university that we like to describe in 3 sentences. For the first, that we are a world-class international university, that we take on fundamental issues that affect all of us, and that we make the world a better place. And I can see my screen actually looks a little strange. I hope you see what I'm seeing now. We are the longest university in Sweden, and our principal sites are in Alnarp, Uppsala, and Umeå. And these 3 main campuses are all located in student towns. Campus Alnarp is in the south, about 30 minutes from the Swedish town Malmö and about 50 minutes from Copenhagen in Denmark. And this is where the Faculty of Landscape Architecture, Horticulture and Crop Production Sciences is located. Uppsala is our largest campus and where the university administration, including me, is located. Uppsala is known for its student life, and you will be able, of course, to take part of all of that when you're here. It's a lot of students here because we also have Uppsala University here, which means I think about 40% of the population of Uppsala actually are students. There are 2 faculties in Uppsala, Natural Resources and Agricultural Sciences, and also the Veterinary Medicine and Animal Science. And Uppsala is located about 40 minutes with train from Stockholm and about 20 minutes from Arlanda, our biggest international airport. And finally, we have Campus Umeå in the north. And Umeå is the biggest city in northern Sweden, and it's also a great hub with lots of students. And in Umeå, the Swedish winter looks like you probably imagine it. So this is a great place for skiing and outdoor life and those kinds of things. And that's where the SLU Faculty for Forest Sciences is located, for a faculty that is also partly presented at Campus Alnarp. Let's see. Just give me a minute, something looks strange here. Can I ask the moderator if you still see my screen?
We cannot see it yet. Can you try to share again, please?
That's really strange because I shared it. Let's try this again. I only showed 1 picture so far, and this is the one now.
Yes, this one is
very, very good. So that's what I've been showing so far. We are a research-intense university. About 70% of the turnover goes to research and doctoral programs. And in international comparison, we rank very highly at SLU. Our scientists contribute to about 1,600 scientific articles per year, and our publications are among the most cited ones within our scientific fields. We are ranked number 1 in the world in forestry by the Center for World University Rankings, and QS World University Ranking ranks us as number 3 in the world in agriculture and forestry. We are also ranked as one of the world's top 300 universities and number 36 of the world's young universities, and number 1 among Sweden's young universities. And thinking about how young we are about 40 years old. We were founded in 1977, but we have a history that starts in 1775, when the first veterinary schools started in Sweden. And let me talk a little about what we do at SLU. SLU focus on issues that are fundamental to us as human beings and concern every living thing on Earth. And I'm going to give you a few examples of what we actually do. We work with sustainable food supply, like adapting to climate change, producing new food, more environmental and climate-friendly food production, urban cultivation, digitalized cultivation, food waste, health issues, consumer issues, business administration, and so on. We work with clean water and oceans. For example, environmental toxins, land-based fish farming, well-being of fish stocks in water, drinking water, and of course problems with drought and flooding. We work with sustainable urban and rural areas. For example, green roofs, urban cultivation, geographical information systems, adapting buildings to cope with extreme weather, like rising sea levels. We work with biomaterials and bioenergy, materials and energy that can be used to replace fossil-based fuel and products such as starch or cellulose instead of plastics, and using bioenergy as a fuel. We work with animal and human welfare. For example, antibiotic resistance and zoonoses, meaning infectious diseases between animals and humans. Food and health, green spaces in cities, outdoor life, animal welfare, the importance of companionship between animals and humans. And we work with biodiversity, like predator issues, elk management, invasive plants and animals, mapping of species and endangered species. So on. And this, we make the world a better place. We like to believe we do. Our knowledge creates the right conditions for a sustainable, thriving, and better world. That's kind of the SLU slogan. And SLU is contributing to the achievement of the Global Sustainable Development Goals, both in Sweden and internationally. And I'm going to mention some of the areas that are important to us once again, because it's so central to what SLU is doing. We have climate change, that agriculture and forestry must both be adapted to and contribute to mitigation climate change. We are developing sustainable solutions for water management and reducing greenhouse gas emissions. We are working on food supply, finding resource efficient, both socially, economically, and environmentally, solutions for increasing global food production through initiatives such as digitalization and artificial intelligence. We work with sustainable cities to make plans for how to deal with the effects of climate change, such as extreme weather events and rising sea levels, and also the development of green infrastructures to help contribute to the health and well-being of humans. The bio-based economy, to move from a fossil-based to bio-based economy, that requires new solutions and trade-offs like, should we cultivate food, animal feed, fiber, or energy crops? And who should decide this? We work on those kind of issues. We work with global health, for example, to reduce the risk of the spread of zoonoses and diseases by insects and cut down on the use of antibiotics in animal husbandry, which could help slow down the development of resistance to antibiotics in humans too. And we work with biodiversity and ecosystems. Environmental monitoring provides the information necessary for the management and recreation of ecosystems, both in land and in oceans. And I'm going to give you a few examples of what we are actually doing to make the world a better place, because this is something we actually do, not something we say that we do. We have a central unit called SLU Global that supports research and development projects in collaboration with scientists and universities in low-income countries. We are a member of the Global Challenges University Alliance, where SLU collaborates with agriculture universities around the world on the sustainability goals in Agenda 2030. For example, on issues as food supply, bioenergy, sustainable urban development, and the climate. There are innovations from SLU based on information and expertise from SLU that makes a huge difference to society. We have SLU's environmental monitoring and assessment that contributes by providing data and analysis on which to base decisions on environmental issues, both nationally and internationally. And the whole of SLU is environmentally certified, and we aim to be becoming climate neutral by 2027. And that's quite soon, so we're moving in the right direction. Now for our educational program. Let me first say that we have students from SLU that are very sought after on the labor market. Most of them get jobs straight after graduating. And that's something to remember, I think, in your choice of programs in Sweden. We have some 40 degree programs at SLU. Most of them are master's program, quite popular international master's program. And in 2021, we will start our very first international bachelor's program, which is now open for application, called Forest and Landscape Management, which kind of combines forestry with landscape architecture. And we had about 3,900 students in 2019, so we're quite a small university, but we are working on doubling the amount of students by 2027, because we and the Swedish government also supports this, believe that there will be a need for more people with SLU skills in the future. The world needs more SLU students, and I think we need some from Indonesia as well. We have the research area. We have expertise in natural sciences, but also in social sciences and the humanities. And we like to work with a transdisciplinary approach. We combine strong curiosity-driven basic research with more specific studies aiming at solving concrete problems, both locally and globally. And some examples of what we do, and so when it comes to socially beneficial research, is the artificial spider silk, which have potential for use in medical applications. We have the climate-friendly rice that emits the minimum amount of the greenhouse gas methane during cultivation. We have chemical signals between animals, plants, and microbes used to control pest insects in areas such as apple orchards. And we have the manual for urban desertification. And if you're interested in reading more about this, there is lots of information on our webpage, of course, of our ongoing research. And here we go with some numbers for you. As I said, about 3,900 students and 40 degree programs. We have about 250 professors and 550 doctoral students, and about 3,000 full-time employees. So if you do the math, you can see with 3,000 full-time employees and 3,900 students, there is a lot of teacher time for every student. And that's one thing that's kind of good to remember in your choice of university. And I'm going to finish my presentation there. And of course, you are welcome to ask me all kinds of questions. And I will also be available in written chats on WhatsApp after this session. And before I let you ask your questions, I would like to summarize what I said by showing you a movie, if that's okay with the moderator.
Yes, that's Totally okay.
Very good. Let's see then. I'm going to share my sound with you as well.
You're in a place where new thoughts are born and new knowledge is created.
Here, we ask the big questions about animals, nature, and life.
You're an important part of SLU.
And together, we contribute to something much bigger and absolutely vital. Our planet is fantastic. For thousands of years, humans have evolved in tandem with the natural environment and learned to make use of the resources and sustenance that the planet supplies.
Today, we are facing completely new challenges. Climate change that will lead to global warming and rising sea levels is becoming increasingly apparent. Together, we must create the best conditions for a sustainable future.
SLU is a world-class international university focusing on the very foundations of our existence: clean water, a living landscape, sustainable food production, high standards of animal welfare, and sustainable cities.
We bring together people who have different perspectives, but they all have one and the same goal: to create the best conditions for every living thing on our planet.
In order to succeed, we must have the courage to question and challenge. We must seek out new paths and be open to new solutions.
By seeing things nobody has seen before and thinking of ideas nobody has thought of before, we are contributing to real change.
Through education, research, and environmental assessment, we are creating the right conditions for a sustainable, thriving, and better world.
There we go.
Okay, thank you so much for the presentation. Now we are down to our Q&A session. So if our watchers on YouTube have any questions, they can type them down on our YouTube's comment section and I'll read them. Okay, the first question would be, what are the documents needed for the application process?
You just need to prove that you have the relevant bachelor degree, of course, your transcripts, and the proof of the English language requirements. So you don't need to have a personal letter of intent or something like that for applying to us. The language and the bachelor degree. If you're not applying for the bachelor program, of course, then there are some special requirements. But if someone have questions about that, we'll take it personally, I think.
How about the English proficiency level? Can you tell us a rough band for the score?
Sorry, I lost your sound there.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the English proficiency, like the standard band for the university?
Yes, all of our programs require a level of what we call English 6, which means you have to do the TOEFL or IELTS, but you can also prove your English skills by your previous studies. If you have studied an English bachelor degree, for example, or can prove in any other way that you have the relevant English skills, that ends up at the level of English 6.
Okay, thank you. Next question. There's a scholarship, right?
There are scholarships. SLU has a small number of scholarships covering tuition fees only. And if you apply to SLU before January 15th, the deadline in the first application round, you will get more information from us on how to apply. And if you apply for those, you will need a personal letter, of course. But there are also the Study in Sweden scholarships, which I imagine you have talked about in this room earlier today, which cover both tuition fees and living expenses. And they are usually open for applications in the beginning of February sometime. I don't know if they have set the dates actually yet, but sometime during that period.
Okay.
So right now, I think it's good to start writing those letters if you want to apply for a scholarship. But I also want to mention that SLU is listed on the LPDP list for agriculture and forestry, which I know is a big thing in Indonesia. So it's a good opportunity. And I know I met with several students in Jakarta last year that actually are here in Uppsala right now studying. with the help from LPDP. So that's really a great opportunity that you have in Indonesia.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you for the answer. How about the application process for the scholarship? Should we attach another letter, like a letter of reference from our previous lecturers or from the employer, stuff like that?
Not for the SLU scholarship. For that, you only need the personal letter, but you will need one if you're applying for the Study in Sweden scholarships. You will need some kind of letter of reference.
Hey, I would like to know about the culture there. Can you tell us more about the learning culture in SLU?
Yeah, I mentioned a little about that in my presentation about the curiosity-driven approach, and that goes for all Swedish universities. We are big fans of critical thinking. We expect students to question what they believe and what they learn. We want students to, of course, respect their professors, but we also want them to question. There's a lot of discussions, a lot of debate in the classroom. And I know that lots of international students are quite used to this. You're not supposed to just sit there and listen and learn. You're supposed to take part of it. And we're very familiar, most of us call our professors and other teachers by their first name and so on, so it's very informal. So we expect you to get in there and be a part of the class.
Okay, thank you. How's the changes by the pandemic? Do you still help the classes offline, or some of them are now online, or it's fully online?
This autumn it's been a kind of a mixture. The universities were closed during the springtime for some months and only online. But during the autumn there have been a mix with online education and campus education. And we have prioritized first-year students, which includes many international students, of course, on campus for them to be able to get some social contacts. And of course, we don't know what's going to happen this spring, but it seems like with vaccines and everything, we hope everything will go in the right direction and that things will be a little bit more normal next autumn when all of you guys are coming here.
Okay, finger crossed. Yeah, it will be getting better. So once we move there, can you tell us roughly the average living cost?
Living costs?
Yes.
Swedish students to Sweden are supposed to have about 8,500 Swedish crowns, which it's about 850 euros, I think, for living expenses. Most of that is for accommodation, of course. But I think with 8,500 Swedish kronas, you will get on quite good as a Swedish student. And I know many students also ask of opportunities for part-time jobs in Sweden. And I'm going to be frank and say that there isn't very many part-time jobs in Sweden, and there's a lot of competition about them. So you don't expect to get a job and live with those money. You have to be able to get by without a job. But with that said, if you do get a job, you can do it without knowing Swedish in many cases, because Swedes are quite good at English. And almost everybody from the about 8-year-olds to the very old ones knows English quite well.
Okay, that's a relief. Okay. Next, about challenges for international students. You mentioned that they speak English fluently. It's so easy to go anywhere and ask people. How about the challenges that international students get? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Challenges for international
Yes.
students. I think most of them, well, I can't say that there's one challenge like everybody talks about. I think many people from the part of the world where you are at are a little worried about the weather, about how much they're going to freeze, about the polar bears on the streets and that kind of stuff. And let me just clarify, there's no polar bears on the streets. And the winter isn't really that bad. It's quite different depending where in Sweden you're at. In southern Sweden, they rarely get snow on the winter. In northern Sweden, they absolutely get snow in the winter. And I'm in Uppsala in the middle of Sweden. Well, it differs between winters. It's dark right now. On the other hand, it's totally bright during the summer. The sun is up almost all day. In northern Sweden, it's actually up all day because they have the midnight sun far up in the north. And it's also, but these dark times are quite nice too. In northern Sweden, you can chase the northern lights right now. And you can also, sometimes you can actually see it here from Uppsala as well. But yeah. And I think, well, as we talked about, this is a special autumn with the pandemic and everything. So I'm thinking that the social context is quite a challenge for many people right now to be able to find some way to actually hang out. But I think the students I have contact with, they manage it quite well, actually. I'm impressed by them. People find ways. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Next question. Would it be possible to take a master degree that's not really correlated with the undergraduate degree?
Sorry, that's not really correlated with?
To the previous bachelor degree.
It depends, I would say, what your previous degree was. Some of our programs are transdisciplinary and you can apply to them with different kinds of backgrounds. For example, the environmental communication program, you can have a background in natural sciences, in social sciences, or many other things. But for some programs, of course, you have to have some specific requirements. If you're going to study animal medicine, well, you need a bachelor degree in that kind of area. So I would say it depends.
Okay. That's really great. Yeah, I would like to know more about SLU. Can you tell us some fun facts about SLU?
Something else about SLU?
Yes.
Sorry, your sound is disappearing sometimes. Okay. I think I told you quite a lot about SLU, but I'm thinking I'm going to tell you a little more about our student life. All our students, we provide accommodation for international students. We guarantee accommodation for the first year. Okay, you still have to pay the rent, of course, but we will make sure you have a room. Most often in a dormitory, where you get your own room with your own toilet and shower most of the time, but you share the kitchen with the other people in the dormitory, usually about 8 to 12 people. And these campuses are spread out through a town. It looks a little different. As I said, we are on 3 big campuses on different places in Sweden, so it looks a little different. But you will always be close to students, and all of these 3 towns are student towns with other big universities as well, so you will mingle a little bit with the other universities too. We have student unions, of course, that you can be member of, that organize activities, parties, pubs, theater, sports, all kinds of things. And where I'm at in Uppsala, there's also student nations that organize a lot of activities. They are connected to Uppsala University, but SLU students are also welcome to be members of them. So this is, I would say that Uppsala is the #1 student town in Sweden, actually. It's about 40,000 students here, and the town has about 200,000 inhabitants.
Okay. How about Indonesian students' life there? Can you tell us more about that?
The Indonesian students, well, we don't have that many, but I have one of my uni buddies, my student ambassadors are Indonesian. She's called Caroline, and she's told me a lot of her experiences of coming here. And as I talked about, the weather was probably the most striking for her when she got here. But she's been involved in many parts, many activities since she came here. Right now, she's actually in Italy because she's doing 2 months in Italy during her education in Sweden. So she's really grasping the opportunities here. And you can also chat with this student ambassador, including her, on the Unibody system. And you can find the link to that on our webpage. So that's a good way if you want to chat with our students.
Okay. Is there any big community of Indonesian students?
I wouldn't say it's a big community, but a small but strong one. And I imagine that the SLU students from Indonesia also are connected to students at Uppsala University from Indonesia. But I would say that the international students as a group with different students from different parts of the world is a very strong community as a group, because they have a lot of activities together, and all of our master programs are international. Almost all of our master programs are in English, so it tends to get quite international.
Okay, I'm pretty sure that many of our watchers are interested now. Before we end this, can you tell us where to go, like the website or the alumni profile that we can go so we can get more information about SLU?
Yes, of course, you can visit our website. The links are, of course, on the fair page for SLU, but it's on the www.slu.se, and you will choose the English version of the page, most likely, I think. You're totally welcome to watch it in Swedish as well, but yeah. And as I said, join the Unibody. The international student ambassadors are posting blogs there as well. If you don't feel like chatting with anyone right now, you can go in there and read their blogs and get a grasp of what they're doing and how life is here. And you can also chat with me, as I said, after the fair. I will be online on WhatsApp. And of course, you can also email me later on if you would like to. I also have a profile on Unibody, so you can chat with me as well during that channel.
Okay, thank you, Miss Ellen. I guess that's a wrap. If you are still interested and want to ask more information about SLU will be on our virtual fair today and tomorrow. You'll be able to consult and get any further questions. Kindly access event.ehef.id and all the information will be there. Okay, I would like to say thank you, Aline, for the presentation. I hope that we can meet again next year.
I hope so too. I really miss you. Thank you very much, and thanks for having me. And best of luck to everybody supplying. And Sweden is a great country, so I hope you will come here too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Hello.
Okay.
Welcome to European Higher Education Fair 2020 goes online. This is Institution Webinar Series. My name is Lukman, and I will be your moderator for this webinar. This next session will have a university from Italy. The name is, pardon if I make a mistake, Università degli Studi di Padova.
Correct.
Please stay tuned until the end of this webinar because we will have a Q&A session right after this. If you have any questions about the presentation or anything to the country or the university, you can submit your questions in our YouTube's comment section anytime throughout the presentation. We'll have Miss Amelia Andriani.
Yes.
You may start the presentation. The time is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Welcome. Well, good morning, and I'll welcome everybody to our webinar. My name is Camilla, and I work for the Global Engagement team at the University of Padua. I will now share my screen with you. So you can see the presentation. So I'm just going to guide you quickly through our agenda for today. We are going to see a little bit about us, about Padua and our university. We're going to go through our degree programs and application procedures. We have a dedicated session for tuition fees and scholarship, and then I will guide you through the different student services. Who we are. The University of Padua is being awarded as the best university in Italy for teaching and research quality. We are an Italian world-class university which adopts a multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary approach. And you will see more about this later on during the webinar when we are going to see our academic offer. We are a research-intensive university, and we rank among the top 250 universities in the world. Our reputation is strongly testified by the main international rankings. As you can see in this slide, we rank among the top 250 universities worldwide. So I can't really tell you who we are without showing you where we are first. We are located in Padua. Padua is in a strategic position in Italy, is actually within one of the wealthiest northern Italian cities, just very close to Venice, just a few hours from the main northern Italian cities, just Milan and Turin. Padua is a student-centered town. We have a population of almost 200,000 inhabitants, and almost 1/3 of the population is made by students. So it's actually going to be a great opportunity for you to live in a young and dynamic city. This is a map to show you why we like to call the university the University. Actually, our campus has grown with the city of Padua. We've been on the map for quite a few years. The university was founded in 1222, and we're actually going to celebrate our 800th birthday in a couple of years. And as the city of Padua expanded, the university expanded along. The red marks on the map are actually university buildings. And as you can see, the city and the university are strongly intertwined. So our campus is deeply integrated within the city. I've included a few pictures of our beautiful city, so you can start envisioning yourself wandering around the streets of Padua, visiting the city center, our literary cafes, Why not the botanical garden? Actually, our botanical garden is a UNESCO site, and it's the first university botanical garden in the world. From these pictures, you can see that the university is really a celebration of history and tradition, that has always gone hand in hand with innovation. Actually, the university can be called the birthplace of modern medicine as well as of the scientific revolution. And we pride ourselves for having as core values gender equality as well. The University of Padua was actually the university to have the first women to graduate, and that was 1678. So here are some facts and figures about our university. As I mentioned before, we have over 60,000 students, and over 3,000 are international students. The university covers almost every field of studies, and our 32 departments are arranged within 8 schools. Once again, I'm going to scroll through some pictures of our schools to give you an idea of where you will be studying. So this is our School of Humanities. Here, a sort of separate campus by itself with the School of Agricultural and Veterinary Sciences, School of Medicine, and School of Psychology. So after having given you a glimpse of our city, I would actually like to take you into our academic offer. And before having a look at the programs, I thought it was important to share with you something about the Italian education system. This will also help you to better understand our requirements. So if you look at the orange part of this slide, you can see that after secondary education, you can access university. You will need to have 12 years of schooling to be allowed to enter university in Italy. And you can either choose a bachelor's degree that lasts 3 years and eventually will be followed by a master's degree, or you can take a single cycle degree. Single cycle degrees in Italy are related to specific professions such as health professions, for instance, medicine and surgery, or other specific professions like law or architecture. After the single cycle degree or the master degree, you can decide to specialize with a PhD research doctorate or a specialization degree. Now, in terms of education, we have 46 degree programs which are entirely held in English, 5 at a bachelor's level, which you see in this slide. So you have the program in animal care. We have 2 programs in our School of Psychology, Psychological Science and Techniques and Methods in Psychological Science. A new program from next academic year in Information Engineering, and a new program in Italian Medieval and Renaissance Studies. We also have the single cycle degree in Medicine and Surgery entirely taught in English. Our offer gets even broader at a master's level. And here you have the complete list of all master's degree held in English. I'm just going to mention those that are new for time constraints. So actually we have a master's degree in food and health, 2 new masters in our School of Psychology, Clinical, Social and Intercultural Psychology, Developmental and Educational Psychology. We also have some new degrees in our School of Humanities, such as English Studies, Communication Strategies, Applied Sciences to Art, Archaeological Material and Sites. And the School of Engineering and School of Science are extending an already broad offering with the new degrees in energy engineering, management engineering, water and geological risk engineering. And then we have in the School of Science, chemistry, computer science, earth dynamics, marine biology, sustainable science, and technology for a circular economy. On top of this, we have more than 150 programs at a bachelor's and master level, which are entirely taught in Italian. So, I mean, opportunities are there for you to find a program of interest. In terms of application, we only have one intake. Lessons start in October, and the application call for English taught degree programs and Italian taught master's degree program with unlimited number of places is actually now open. And it's going to close on the 2nd of February. We will also have a second call opening in March, but my recommendation is to take advantage of the current call because it actually gives you more opportunities in terms of scholarships as well. We have a dedicated application platform for our international students. You find the address right here, apply.unipd.it. It's an extremely user-friendly tool, and you can just create your student profile and you can submit up to 3 applications by paying an application fee of 30 euros. We also have a second call for the English taught degree programs with limited number of places that is going to open in January. And I strongly invite you to check the relevant admission notice for the program of your interest. The application tool remains the same, so our application platform, apply.unipd.it. So every program has specific admissions requirements. Here we've included, some like a summary of the main requirements. To apply for a bachelor's and single cycle degree programs, you will need at least 12 years of prior education. Depending on the language you would like to study in, you will be requested to have a B2 level of English for English taught program or a B2 level of Italian for Italian taught programs. And different programs may have different admission tests. For instance, we have the IMAT for medicine and surgery, the SAT, which is actually not a mandatory requirement for next academic year, but it's highly recommended for the Bachelor in Psychological Sciences. And then for the Italian taught programs, you will have the TOEIC. At a master's degree level, the language requirements remain the same. And in terms of admissions entry requirements, you will need to have a relevant bachelor's degree and some minimum curricular requirements. For the master's degrees of the School of Economics, a GMAT score is a mandatory requirement to be admitted. What do we mean by relevant bachelor's degree? Basically, the master's degree should be a specialization which allow you to further deepen your knowledge in a dedicated field of studies. So, of course, when applying for a master's degree, you would need to have a previous background in the same field of studies. Once again, the application platform will be the ideal place to find out specific requirements for your program of interest. I dedicated a slide to medicine and surgery because it's quite particular and has some specific requirements. Well, the entry requirements of the 12 years of schooling remain. The application cannot be done through our application platform. It will actually need to be done through a ministry website, Universitaly, and the time for application is around June, July. In terms of admission test, there's a national test which is going to be held in Padua here at the university for the Italian thought program, while for the English thought program, you need to take an IMAT test. And the good news is that it can be taken at any IMAT accredited center. So you don't need to physically come to Padua to take the IMAT. You can just look for the closest IMAT center to your home. The date of the test is, in both cases, September 2021, and lessons will start in October. Here is a chart of our academic year. So classes, as I mentioned before, will start in October until January. You will have exams from January to February. And then the second semester will start in March until June, with exams in June and July. Of course, you have a Christmas break during the first semester, and you can take your holidays in August, as most Italians do as well, living the Italian life to the fullest. So in terms of how to fund your studies, we know how important it is for you to be able to budget beforehand. Actually here you find our tuition fees, or better I should say, our maximum tuition fees. These are the maximum amounts that you can be expected to pay, because the University of Padua is a public university, which means that the government, the Italian government, actually subsidizes part of your studies, of your tuition fees, and the remainder is actually balanced according to your family income. So, I will not enter the details of the procedure, but basically you'll be asked to submit some financial documents that will allow us to come up with an index that will enable the university to recalculate your fees. And the breakdown of the fees entails an enrollment fee of 188 euros that is needed upon enrollment to secure your place. And the second and the third installment are not due until the end of the first semester and the middle of the second semester. Also, we offer many scholarship opportunities that can be based on merit or on income. And I strongly invite you to visit our website. You find the address right here in this slide to get more information on the specific scholarship opportunities. Allow me just to spend a few words on the Padua International Excellence Scholarship. It's a scholarship which is dedicated to our international students that apply for English Thought degree programs during the first call of application. It entails a complete fee waiver and an allowance of 8,000 euros per year, which is going to be for 3 years at a bachelor level and 2 years at a master's level. So it's an amazing opportunity to be funding your studies actually through scholarships. We also offer job opportunities, meaning that as a non-EU student with a valid residence permit, you are actually allowed to work up to 20 hours a week. And you can find job opportunities on your own, so off campus, or you could actually work within the university offices through our student collaborations. In terms of average living cost, given that the size of our city is a middle size, it's quite actually a small to middle town in terms of with comparison with other Italian cities. The cost of life is actually more affordable as well. And you could expect an expense of 600 to 700 euros per month, including accommodation, grocery shoppings, bills, and some personal extras as well. So after we've gone through the city, the programs and the finances, actually, what can you expect when you arrive in Padua as an international student? So first of all, in terms of accommodation, we have a dedicated housing office that that can help you find the most suited form of accommodation for you. You can choose between public dormitories or private colleges with which the university has partnership. You can look for accommodation within the private market, so share a flat or a room with other students. As I was saying before, Padua is a student city, so many students just decide to rent flats independently. Or you can use an application, a housing platform called House Anywhere to look for accommodation in a safe and secure way. You will be assigned also a buddy. So every international student is assigned to a senior student that will guide you through the different procedures in terms of registration, enrollment. He or she will show you around the university venues, the city as well. So it's a great value, it's a great service to have somebody who's basically gone through the small challenges that you are going through as a newly arrived student at university before you, and who's there to support you. We also have some specific Italian language courses for our international students and a dedicated office, which is called SAOS, that provides assistance on immigration-related procedures in terms of visa, residence permit, and so on. We also have a broad array of student services. We have a dedicated inclusion office, which provides assistance to students with disabilities or specific learning disabilities. We offer a psychological assistance service and tutoring service to support you and to teach you how to actually maximize your studying experience while studying at the University of Padua. Of course, we know how important employability is when choosing your university. And we have, for this reason, a dedicated career service and job placement office that can help you with finding the best internship and job opportunities during your studies and after graduation as well. In terms of centers, we have a university language centers where you can deepen your knowledge of modern foreign languages. And it's actually a test center as well for major official certification. We do have a university sports center with sport facilities right here in Padua. So I'm not sure whether we have any athletes in our audience today. But it's actually a great opportunity to continue performing and training for your sports. And we also have many students associations. In this slide, we actually listed, let's say, the most meaningful to our international students community, but we do have many more. So to name a few, the International Student Council, which is an association that represents the international students of the University of Padua. We also have an international orchestra called Concentus Musicus Patavinus and a multi-language theater group. So we are actually coming towards the end of the presentation. Just an invite to follow us on our social network, on our Facebook and Instagram page. I've included here our email address for any questions that I may not get to respond to during this webinar. And I also invite you to visit our virtual room both today and tomorrow. And last but not least, we actually have an ongoing initiative called Open Weeks. And actually, we are presenting our English Thought degree programs with the professors that are coordinating the programs. So if you have any specific interest, I strongly invite you to register for our Open Weeks and to learn about the programs of your interest directly from our professors. So once again, thank you for your time. And I leave the word to our moderator, who I assume has a few questions for me.
Okay, thank you very much for the presentation. Now we will begin our Q&A session. I've got a few questions. The first one is, how competitive is it to get a scholarship in Padua?
Okay, actually, it depends on the field of studies and on the programs. There are some programs that can be more competitive than others, but I would say that, you have different opportunities. So when you don't get the merit-based scholarship, you can still apply for an income-based scholarship. So there are many ways of having the possibility of getting support to finance your studies. I mean, specific information can be found on our website, but overall, I would say each of you can find a way to get some support to finance your studies.
Hey, thank you. Next, you mentioned many documents needed for the application. Do we also need to make our letter of statement upon application?
Can you please clarify what you mean by letter of statement? Is it a motivational letter?
Yes.
Yes, that's actually very important. Our academic committee values the motivation letter. They want to know why applicants want to join the university and the specific programs, what they can add to the classroom, and what they are seeking to obtain from the program. So definitely the motivational letter is a very important part of the documents that you need to upload.
Okay, thank you. Can you give us a little tip for that letter? Should it be like super duper academic, or it can be like academic but with another activities that you would do in Padua as well?
Okay, again, it really depends on the field of studies. I think that the motivational letter should represent the student. So definitely something about, like the passion, the interest that he has for the program is important. Because, of course, I mean, if you have some meaningful experience outside your studies background, you should include them because it helps the academic committee know more about you. I would not keep it too long. I would try to include the most meaningful information and those that are related to the program within a synthetic letter. That's what I can personally suggest. But it needs to represent you. It needs to give the academic committee an idea of who you are.
Okay, thank you for the answer. Now let's get to know more about the city and Italy. Can you tell us more about the city life and the learning culture there?
Yeah, sure. Okay. Well, Italy is known for pizza, coffee, and gelato. it's actually much more than that. I mean, I can assure you that you will find great coffee, great pizza, and great gelato. So that's a guarantee. But it's actually a country where you find an enormous number of UNESCO sites. So in terms of arts and culture, you will actually have the chances to do a lot of sightseeing and to learn about the history of the country. We also have, like beautiful coastlines. We have the Alps. So there's really, the country may not be that big, but it's so diverse that anybody can find something that they like. In terms of our city, Padua is a small to mid-sized city. This is important because in terms of safety, it's really safe to live in Padua. In terms of lifestyle, we have many students. The international student community is growing as well. So it's a very lively and dynamic city. So you can, from exhibitions, museums to concert shows, there's always something to do. Maybe not really right now in these current times, but like overall, it's definitely a very engaging city to be living in.
Okay, thank you for that. Speaking of pandemic, how's the teaching and learning activity going on so far in Padua?
Okay, so at this current moment, most of our lessons are held online, but first-year students, both at a master and at a bachelor's level, are actually given the possibility to attend in presence. So for those students, lessons can be on dual mode, meaning that they are held in presence and online at the same time, or on a blended mode, so with some activities in presence and some activities online. Having said this is the situation for now, but we are hopeful that for next academic year, all our students will be able to join us on campus. So we want to be very optimistic about the next academic year.
Okay, fingers crossed it will be getting better. The next question would be related to the Italian language. Would English speakers find big difficulties living there?
Okay. Okay, we need to differentiate the studies and the living. So, once you study in English, you'll be absolutely able to attend classes and proceed with your academic life. Being the fact that you will be living in a city where the main language is different, definitely some basis will help. And that's why we have a specific intensive Italian courses dedicated to our international students, because we want them to be familiar with the language and to have a basic confidence in the language. As I was mentioning before, we have a center within the university when you can learn languages, including Italian, of course. So my advice to any international student, is, even if studying in English, is definitely to take this opportunity to learn the Italian language. It's going to make your life way easier.
Okay, thank you. How about the Indonesian students there? Do you have any previous engagement with them, and how do they do their life?
Previous Indonesian students?
Yes.
Okay. I don't really have numbers to give you in this current moment, but we actually have an alumni association you could refer to. And overall, just consider that the university and the city itself are very welcoming towards international students. You know, the students community, the international student community is increasing, is expanding. We have the International Student Association, the Student Council, that helps them as well. So even if you will encounter small challenges, as you know, you will do in any new adventure, you will definitely have some support. Consider that the number of international students is really growing. We have more than 1,500 international students every year.
Hey, thank you. Next question. Do you have bundling programs, as for example, 1 year Italian language preparation, and then bachelor or master in Italian for international students?
Okay, you are probably referring to the foundation year, which is actually, right. Yeah, no, unfortunately, it's not something that we currently offer, but we do accept students with foundation years from other university. So if you see a program of your interest at our university and you want to do your foundation year at another university, you could do so. We'll be accepting your foundation year. Okay. We also have you can hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. No. And I mean, in terms of support for international students, the intensive language course is what we offer at the moment.
Hey, we're almost toward the end of our Q&A session, but before we end it, can you tell us one fun fact about Padua University?
I didn't hear the question. You'll be so kind to repeat it?
Yes. Can you tell us one fun fact about Padua University that not many people know?
Not many people know. The thing is, I already gave you one during the presentation, so you all know that we were the university with the first woman to graduate. In terms of other fun facts, actually, it's a little bit difficult at the moment, but okay. Going back to the fathers of the scientific revolutions, actually Galileo Galilei taught at the University of Padua for more than 18 years. So that's definitely, you know, something to be proud of.
Yes, that's a really huge thing. So thank you so much, Ms. Camila and Dran, for the presentation and answering all the questions. If you are interested and want to know more about University of Padua, you can go to the website or you can visit our virtual fair today and tomorrow. You'll be able to consult directly and ask more questions related to your studies specifically. Kindly access event.ehef.id and all the information will be there. I would like to say thank you so much one more time for Ms. Camila Andrean.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hope to see you again next year.
Yes, definitely. And I wait all of you in our virtual room.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
We'll meet again on the next session. Bye for now. Hello, welcome back to European Higher Education Fair Indonesia 2020 goes online. This is Institution Webinar Series. My name is Lukman and I'm going to be your moderator for this last session. So this session will be having another university from Italy. Hey, please stay tuned until the end of this webinar because we will have a Q&A session. If you have any questions about the presentation or anything related to Italy or the university, you can submit your questions in our YouTube's comment section anytime throughout the presentation. Okay, we'll have the representatives. Let's call them out. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. You could introduce yourself and start the presentation. The time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Lutan. So we are the University of Salerno, and we have a PowerPoint for you that we can start now. So my name is Macarena. I work at the international office with my colleagues Silvia and Nuncia that are here as well. Silvia, would you like to say something?
Hello, everybody. I'm Silvia. I'm also part of the staff of the Erasmus International Relation and Erasmus Student Office.
Nuncia, would you like to say something? I don't know if she's able to hear us. Anyway,
just good luck for the presentation. I love you.
Okay, so we are going to start now by presenting the university. Can you see it properly, Silvia? Okay.
Yes, we all can see that. Okay,
great. So we would like to start by some basic data, our location and our surroundings. The University of Salerno was founded in 1968. We are located in southern Italy, in a region that is called Campania, in the province of Salerno. The university, it's about 15 kilometers from the city of Salerno, and we have two campuses. Fisciano campus is our main campus, where all the degrees, most of the degrees are taught. And the Baronizzi campus, it's where the medical and health sciences degrees are taught. We have a lot of facilities. We have a hall of residence, canteen. We have sports facilities where most of the sports that you can think of, you can practice them there. We have a medical center, a counseling center, a police station, a post office. It's a small city made in a campus. We have about 40,000 students, about 2,000 staff and 17 departments. We entered this year in the QS International Ranking, and we are among the first 400 universities in the world, according to the Shanghai and Times ranking. We have more than 1,000 international students incoming and outgoing, and they are representing every year 45 different nationalities that you can find on campus. We have 36 bachelor's degrees and 37 master's degrees and 7 integrated master's degrees. We will talk about the organization of these degrees later. We have 14 PhD courses, 30 double degree programs. We will talk about them later. And we have over 1,000 Erasmus Plus bilateral agreements with more than 500 partner institutions around the world. So that's where we are in a map. We are in the south of Italy, between the Amalfitan coast, and I'm sure that you heard about it, and the Cilento coast. So we have 7 UNESCO World Heritage places in Campania. Here you have some examples. We have Pompeii. We have a lot of very rich culturally speaking places that you can visit if you come. So now we're going to talk about the education at the university and in Italy in general. The education is structured in 3 different study cycles. The first cycle, it will be called bachelor degree. It lasts 3 years, and you can get 180 credits when you finish your degree. The second cycle is a master degree, and it lasts 2 years, and you can add 120 credits to the credits that you got before with your bachelor degree. And we have a thing that it's called integrated master's degrees, that are degrees that last 5 or 6 years, depending on what you're studying, and they are non-stop. So if you start those degrees, you continue until you obtain 300 credits or 360 credits, depending on where you're studying. And finally, the third cycle, there is our PhD courses that lasts 3 years. Sorry. So here you can find the main field of studies that we have at the University of Salerno, and we would like to highlight 4 degrees that we have that we teach fully in English, and it will be Internet of Things, Data Science and Innovation Management, Digital Health and Bioinformatics Engineering, and Food Engineering, all in the science field. So we are going to present you some of the international opportunities that you can have if you come and study with us. We talked before about the double degree programs. So they are a program that if you're studying a degree at our university, you can also complete that cycle at another university around the world. So we have, for example, a double degree of civil engineering in Argentina. So if you're studying civil engineering at the University of Salerno, you can complete your study period in Argentina. Or if you're studying, for example, business innovation and informatics, you can complete your studies in Colombia. Or we have we have 2 that are compulsory. So for people that are studying linguistics and didactics, it is compulsory for them to spend a semester in Germany. Or for people that are studying economics, they have to spend a semester in France, a year. So now we would like to talk about some of the scholarship programs that we offer as university. We have a program that it's called UNISA Chooses, and you can come and study at the university, a master degree, and we will offer free meals at the university canteen, free accommodation at the university halls of residence, and an Italian language course for a semester, and it will be all completely free. You only have to pay for the tuition fees, but as you come as international students, it will be low fees. It will be €100 per academic year. And you can pay them in 3 different installments. So it's a program that has been on for 5 years now, and we would like to show you some of the experiences that we had from the students that are currently studying at the university with this program. Here you can see the countries that our students are representing the most. We have Pakistan, Turkey, and Kazakhstan as the main 3 countries that students come from when they are studying this program. And now we will show you their experience. We will let them talk. Now I have to share another screen. Okay.
Salerno University is organized as an American campus. Come here, you can enjoy a lot of amazing things. Please welcome Unisa.
I am Michael Selassie Chike. I went to the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology in Ghana, and I wanted to further here in Italy, the University of Salerno particularly. And I think what I've experienced over here is very good. It's excellent. They have a lot of facilities and halls of residence for the students. And then one thing I really bothered about was accommodation. And then they've given me a stress-free lifestyle over here, not any bother about accommodation, unlike other places. And I bet you this is the opportunity you'd want to take. So please apply.
My name is Malik Elisa. I'm from the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan. I'm studying in the University of Salerno for the reason that the University of Salerno is now considered as one of the best universities worldwide, as they are ranked as one of the best 500 universities in the world. Also, the students at the University of Salerno are so kind with us, are so cooperative and helpful.
Hola, me llamo Tomás, vengo de Cuba y si tuviera que aconsejar a mis amigos y a los estudiantes extranjeros, les aconsejaría venir a la Universidad de Estudios de Salerno, donde se crece tanto profesional como personalmente.
Hola, me llamo Pilar, vengo de Argentina. Apenas llegué aquí, he encontrado un ambiente familiar. Las personas son muy cálidas, muy amables y la experiencia aquí es hermosa.
Hola, soy Juan Pablo, vengo de Argentina y gracias a esta cercanía con la universidad y el contacto cotidiano con las personas, estoy apprendendo velozmente la lingua italiana.
Sono Murad, vengo dalla Turchia, ho scelto questa università perché sapevo che mi offre tantissime opportunità, sia che per lo studio, per lo svago, ci sono biblioteche, laboratori, anche piscina, palazzi, anche sportive varie. Cari miei colleghi internazionali, vi invito a venire qua perché c'è un'esperienza che vi farà crescere come una persona.
Hi, I'm Stephanie and I'm from Colombia. I'm doing my master's degree here in food engineering. When I finish my master's degree, I will have better job opportunities. Also, I learned a new language and I discovered an amazing new culture. Come here. Do not hesitate to do your master's degree here in Italy and improve your job opportunities and learn better new things.
I'm Presla Dedetete from Ghana, a first-year Lara Magistral student, currently studying food engineering. And University of Salerno has been one of the best places I've ever been, since it's actually the first country I've been to. And honestly speaking, the professors, the students, and the staff, we are free to move about and collaborate even in our studies and also in daily activities. For assistance and other things, it's basically easy to get access. Furthermore, the course models and everything actually helps and also grooms you for the future life.
Hi everyone, this is Anas with you. At the beginning when I came to the university, I didn't know what is waiting for me. It was an amazing experience. Really, I invite you to come, don't wait. Just when you just fill the application. It's easy. Come, we are waiting for you.
We know, we study, we discover, we grow.
Call open until 24th of April 2018.
Apply now.
Web unisa.it/international/news.
Okay, so that were some of these students speaking. They were so enthusiastic to come to the University of Salerno to study, as you can see. So now for the second part of the presentation, I will let my lovely colleague Silvia Governatori to present.
Yes, hello everybody again. Since the current academic year and starting due for the actual circumstances connected with COVID, the Italian Ministry of Education implemented a special platform called Universitaly, where non-European countries' citizens can apply very easily because they only need to register on the portal and upload all their documents of study, their curricula, their transcript of records, and so on. They can choose among the courses, bachelor degree or master degree offered in our course catalog, and then can apply directly on the platform without any more steps. They will be evaluated by our committee for admittance, and they will get an answer easier and soon directly on their email. At the same time, the local Italian representative in the country will get the same information about admission of the candidates. So it's very easy because you just have to apply once at the beginning on the platform, Universitaly, and then you have only to apply to the embassy by, again, asking a visa for study purpose, knowing that the embassy already has your name in their list of applicants. Secondly, we would like to talk to you about our PhD programs. Since the University of Salerno gives the opportunity to international applicants to get a scholarship consisting again of free meals at the university canteen and free lodging at the university halls of residence, and also an Italian language intensive course at the beginning of each term, plus a monthly salary, which is about 1,200 euros per month. And it's a good salary for our cost of living because being Salerno a small city, not a capital city like Rome or a big city, living expenses are not very high. So the salary given to PhD students, it's good enough. And the international call for PhD, it's in September. It depends, sometimes in July, sometimes in September, but in any case, it's at the beginning of the new academic year. And here you can find the list of the partnership we have with non-European countries. Since we not only offer opportunity of mobility to students, but we also cooperate in the field of research. And these are the main countries all over the world we collaborate with. Not only European countries, but many extra-Europe countries. Okay, about the campus life, we want to show you some pictures explaining you that we have a wonderful scientific library, which was built a few years ago, and it's very modern. It's very, you have time, you have place where students can study very easily and comfortably. This is our canteen, where you can eat, and these are sport facilities inside the campus. All the things that you are looking now are inside the campus, because in Italy we are one of the few universities organized as a campus. Okay, so it's like a small village where you can find a lot of different opportunities. These are the halls of residence, newly built again. And you can have also the opportunity to join music activities. You can join a chorus, you can join the orchestra, you can take a part to special programs for musicians if you want. Okay, so we are, I hope that our presentation will give you the interest in our university, in our country, in our region, Campania. You can look here, our campus, which is big, like a village. Okay, so it's not in the city, but it's very close to the city of Salerno, which is on the seaside. And I hope that some of you will be interested in visit our university in our surroundings as well.
We cannot hear you, Lutan. I think you have to activate your mic. There you go.
Yes, thank you so much for the impressive presentation and all the information about University of Salerno. I also really like the video. Okay,
oh yeah, we have a video, yes.
So we are now down to our Q&A section. Okay, the first one would be, what are the documents needed to apply to the University of Salerno?
Okay, I will answer. Of course, it depends if you are applying to a bachelor or to a master degree. For the bachelor degree, you need to have at least 12 years of scholarship in order to apply to an Italian university. And you need to have a diploma, okay, a high school diploma. On the other hand, if you want to apply to a master degree, your previous career must be evaluated by a special committee. So you might be asked to show in the platform in university to upload your bachelor degree, your transcript, your diploma supplement, everything that can be useful to the committee to evaluate your curriculum in order to establish if you have pre-requirements to apply. And sometimes, if the master degree is taught in English, you are asked to show that you have a competence of at least a B2 level of English. On the other hand, if the master degree is taught in Italian, you need to have a knowledge of Italian language. This is a requirement that is required by the Italian Ministry of Education.
Hey, thank you for the answer. Next question. You also mentioned that we could get to continue our study in another university. How does that happen? Can you tell us more about that program?
Yeah, it's called double degree programs. So if you are studying at this university, we have different agreements with other universities around the world. And it works for certain degrees. So for the list we showed, we have 13 double degree programs. So if you enroll in one of these degrees that we showed, you have the opportunity to spend a semester or a year, depending on the agreement, in one of these universities. So you complete your studies and you have your degree by 2 universities.
Hey, thank you for that. The next one, I would like to know more about life in Salerno. Can you tell us more about life in Salerno?
So Salerno, it's a quiet city. It has around 1,100. No, how many?
3,000. 300,000.
Okay, 300,000 inhabitants, so it's a small city. It's by the sea, and the university life is very active, as we have a huge campus where a lot of activities are held. You have a lot of courses about music and other activities for its students. And it is a very touristic area. As we said, we have 7 UNESCO World sites in the region. So it's a very active area. You cannot get bored here.
Hey, thank you. So is the teaching and learning activity still going on? Because we're in the pandemic now, or how do you deal with that so far?
So now we have a blended system where first year students can go to the university in presence. At least it was at the beginning of the semester. As the pandemic evolved and we entered in a different phase of this epidemic, now the whole mobility and teaching, the whole teaching and exams, every evaluation, it's online. It's held online.
Hey, cool. How about the average living cost there? You mentioned that it wouldn't be as expensive as cities like Rome, Milan. Can you tell us more detail about that?
Yes, I give you an example. For instance, you can find in Salerno a shared room for 250 per month and a single room for 300 euros per month. So it's not very expensive. You don't have much expenses for transportation because Salerno is very close. It's very small. In the city, you can move walking easily. Then you have to take the bus to go to the campus. But if you live in a campus, as most of our international students do, you can reach classes, libraries, sport facilities in 10 minutes walk. You don't have to buy a ticket, a monthly ticket, okay? Because you live close to the campus.
Okay. You also mentioned a little bit about the part-time job. What kind of typical part-time job that international students can do?
They can do all kind of part-time. Exactly the same opportunity that a local student have. You apply for the part-time job in the university, which means that you can work in one of the office or structure of the university. It depends on your attitude. We had, for instance, in our international relation office, some part-time international students that came since they were very keen, very good with languages. We need them to welcome other international students. Or you can choose to go, I don't know, for instance, in our administrative office where sport facilities are, or orientation, or you can choose, okay? You just, when you apply, you set some preferences. You say, to the university, okay, I would like to go to the international relations student or elsewhere.
Okay, next question. I know that Salerno is a really good city to live in. Is there any possibility to leave and get visa right after we finish our study there?
Yes, of course, but you need to find a job. As you can understand, you can extend the visa for study purpose until the third cycle of your study. So we had several international students that started with a master degree, then won the scholarship for PhD. At the end, you can get some other kind of scholarship. You want to start your job in the university as a researcher, or in alternative, you must find a job in one of our companies.
Okay, thank you. Since you provide many meals for scholarship, I bet no one will deny that.
Yeah, and Italian meals. It's not any meal.
Exactly. Okay, you also, yes, sorry?
In Salerno, you can buy a pizza for €5.
Okay, thank you. That's really exciting. Okay,
Yes.
you also mentioned us that there are many international students. What will be the biggest challenge for international students when they arrive in Salerno?
Well, we had a questionnaire to, we sent a questionnaire to our UNISA student, the one from the video and all their colleagues. And one of the the biggest challenge that they find at the beginning, it's a visa process. It's a long process, and all the administrative part, it's tricky. It's tricky for them. So that's the most difficult thing at the beginning.
Okay, cool. How about the international students base? Like, will I get the Indonesian community there or Southeast Asian community around here like that?
Yeah, we have, I don't know what's our number for Indonesian students, Silvia, maybe you know?
How many? Sorry, I didn't understood since. How many international students?
Indonesian, yeah, from Indonesia.
Indonesia. Okay, we had, sorry. We had some PhD, some researcher, not so many, but we had in our laboratories, in scientific departments, we had. Yeah.
So yeah, it's easy to find, and Italian people, they're very open. So you have as well an Italian community waiting, so it's not a problem.
Would it be a big deal if I speak Italian, not fluent there, especially in Salerno?
Well, I can speak for myself because I'm not Italian either. But when I first came, it was a challenge, yes. But since they are open, so you don't feel like stupid talking in a different language and making mistakes because they try to understand you. So that's an important part. And we offer as well Italian language courses for all income students that are completely free of charge. So that it's really helpful at the beginning. It was helpful for me, so it's really helpful.
Sylvia, would you like to add some more?
Yes, the Italian language course, it's intensive and it goes in parallel with the official courses. It's not only an opportunity to improve Italian language for many international students. It's a kind of beginning the study of Italian language. It's a way to become part of the international community of Salerno, which is not a big city. So we don't have a lot of people from abroad, from other countries, but it is an advantage because people here are really welcome international students. Has they like to meet people, okay, because it's not so usual to meeting people from abroad. And during the Italian intensive language course, they became a kind of a community, and they know and learn a lot about not only the language but also our peculiar culture.
Okay, thank you. That is super exciting. There's a question about scholarship. Can you tell us more about the requirements? Like, what should we prepare ahead?
Yes, of course, if you are applying for engineering, for a different subject of engineering, for instance, the committee must be sure that your curriculum it's good for the course, the master course you choose. This is the only things they want to know. It means that they don't want to have too many difficulties in understanding things, because you must have a basic knowledge of the subjects that you want to study here. This is the only things they want to be sure of.
Okay.
Sometimes not only they look up your curriculum, and if they feel that they can need to interview you, they agree with the student a Skype interview, something like that, before admitting them.
Okay, we're almost toward the end of our Q&A session, but before we end it, can you tell us one more fun fact about Salerno or University of Salerno that not many people know? We just knew that the pizza can cost €5. That's super amazing.
That's a good thing to know, right?
Can you tell us one more before we close this one?
A fun fact about the university, maybe that the Scuola Medica Salernitana, it's one of the oldest one in Europe. It's one of the oldest medical schools, was founded here, and we have a botanic garden where they show you how they used to make all the medicines with those plants. So that's a fun fact. Maybe Silvia has another one to add.
Yes, probably the fact of being on the seaside. It's summer season. It's very pleasant here because we have a lot of opportunities to practice also swimming, sports on the seaside. Yes.
Okay, that's really cool and fun. Okay, thank you so much for all the questions answered. I would like to say thank you one more time to Miss Macareno Escobar Fuentes, Miss Sylvia Emasiano,
Just
and
Silvia.
Miss Sylvia and Miss Nancia Frasi. Okay, and I
Okay,
would like
thank you,
to. Yes, you're welcome, and I would like to see you again next year. And I hope that we can meet later on in Salerno.
Yeah, sure. We're looking forward to meeting you here.
But
yeah,
in
come
person,
to us.
in person.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for inviting us.
You're so welcome. And that's the end of our institution webinar series for today. I would like to thank everyone who has joined. And don't you forget that we will still have a virtual fair tomorrow. You can ask directly, and if you still want to know about University of Salerno, ask more questions, you can go there and ask further questions. Okay, we'll meet again tomorrow. Have a great time. and bye for now. you.